Why do we not take initiative when we know it's the right thing to do? Why do we know that if we took these steps, we'd have a higher level of success and we still don't do it? Is it other things in the background keeping us from actually going into that direction and not wanting to succeed to a level of maybe above what we think we can do? So maybe a little self-doubt. Is it often just being fearful? You know, in a highly disciplined environment, there are bosses out there that micromanage. If you have a micromanagement situation in your work environment, are you afraid to take initiative because you may do the wrong thing? You might say the wrong thing. It might not be the direction somebody else wants you to go in. How is initiative holding you back? Our friends are always trying to help each other out. All the time, friends of mine are asking about new opportunities. I'm asking them about new opportunities. And usually it's for acquaintances, siblings, friends of friends who are looking for jobs, new opportunities, whatever it may be, right? And so this is an ongoing thing. And this is what you do for the people that you care about, for the people in your life. You help them out and you do things that connect other people who can actually make great things together. Maybe it's a service industry, maybe they're actually building something, whatever it is, you often know how to connect people into a great way. So I'm having a conversation with a friend of mine actually this morning, and he's telling me about a connection that we had made and a friend of ours that had reached out and had a really great first interview. And the interview was really, really good, and the boss really thought a lot of the individual, but nothing really came to fruition. And so we had reached out to that friend and there wasn't a whole lot of, they weren't interested. He said, you know, he hadn't heard back from them. And then the other friend called me and said, listen, let me give you some feedback. The person that did the interview basically told me that they never heard from them. And it's really, really interesting because it got me, as I was walking into the building today, I was like, oh, what you're telling me is the initiative wasn't taken. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, what I'm saying is when you do an interview and you have a connection with somebody, it's always great to follow up. Even if it's not the right job, if it's not the right situation for you, not the right timing, it's just good to always make sure that that person knew who you were and how much you appreciated, if nothing else, their time. So this individual said that the boss mentioned to them, you know, I usually set a ticker just in the next couple of days to send a thank you note. And he goes, I don't need a thank you note, but it really shows me that the person took initiative and they're interested in the job. It got me thinking more about initiative. Here's the interesting part. Why do we not take initiative when we know it's the right thing to do? Why do we know that if we took these steps, we'd have a higher level of success and we still don't do it? Is it other things in the background keeping us from actually going into that direction and not wanting to succeed to a level of maybe above what we think we can do? So maybe a little self-doubt. Is it often just being fearful? You know, in a highly disciplined environment, there are bosses out there that micromanage. If you have a micromanagement situation in your work environment, are you afraid to take initiative because you may do the wrong thing? You might say the wrong thing. It might not be the direction somebody else wants you to go in. How is initiative holding you back? And maybe it's actually getting you everything you want. If you take on a new job and you take the initiative to do something above and beyond what you were asked, that's how you keep the job. That's how you become invaluable. See, there's something to be said for doing the work. Loyalty is something that will always be valuable. Your word is extremely valuable. Telling me you're great in an interview and then not taking the initiative to follow up to really show me that you want it, that you're interested, is giving me a little bit of a red flag from the get-go. So once you actually get that job, or you have that coaching job, or whatever it may be that you're doing, what are you doing above and beyond? It's the things you do above and beyond that make you that invaluable employee. It's really the same for any relationship, right? I mean, if you just do the bare minimum, how long will you be in that relationship? It's the things you do above and beyond that make the relationship go to a deeper level. It's the initiative you take to see the kitchen completely in disarray and clean it up ahead of time so that it's not something you have to talk about after dinner as who's going to handle this. That initiative gets you the brownie points that maybe you need or you want, but what it's really doing is making someone notice you. It's making someone recognize you. And if that someone happens to be the one you love more than anyone else, your spouse, that's a big deal. Well, what about at work? Is it not the same thing? Is it not just knowing how people click in your office? If there's someone who always gets Starbucks and they get it at the same time almost every day, and you happen to be grabbing a Starbucks and you call that person and you say, hey, John, I'm at Starbucks right now. You want me to get you that cold brew? John will not forget how much that meant to him and how much you took that initiative. Super small. Wasn't integral to the job. Wasn't directly related to the work, but it was directly related to the relationship. See, initiative built around relationships is what we're talking about here. We're not talking about initiative of just doing the work. We're talking about initiative in the sense of a relationship. And when you take initiative in relationships, you're setting yourself up for a higher level of success. So any of these stories are stories that you can utilize. You have a million of them in a day. There are moments every day where we have the initiative and we have a choice to take it or leave it. I teach our boys this all the time. You know, it's a choice of having the initiative of doing chores in and around the house. I mentioned it to one of my sons this morning. I said, hey, these are some things that could really help out. And if we have to come home and tell you that these things can help out, it makes it a chore for us, not something you're doing to help out. So we're trying to encourage them to have some of that initiative. And we know if they're anything like I was as a kid, and maybe you, that initiative is at a bare minimum when it's for mom and dad. And maybe there's some kids out there who are just amazingly doing this every single day. But I know in our house, initiative is something we talk about all the time. If you know the trash cans go out on Wednesday or Thursday or whatever day it is, don't make me have to tell you to do it. If I have to tell you to do something, you're actually creating another chore for me. It's me remembering. This works the same in any relationship. It also brings up a great point. Sometimes initiative is just a thank you. It's just a reminder. It's just a simple reminder that says, I appreciated you. I appreciated the time you took to invest in me. That's what an interview really is. We're interviewing you to figure out if you're the right fit for our company. We're also giving you an opportunity to make something bigger and better for yourself if we're that right fit. We could be a catapult to great things in your career. You could be a catapult to great things in our career. That's how we're interviewing each other, right? And so just by saying thank you or I can't wait, these are things that really make the difference. And in relationships, it's no different. If you go on a first date, don't follow stupid rules. Send a quick note, had a great time. You know how many times I think about this in a day? One of my best friends from high school came to my son's high school soccer game the other day. Multiple times I've thought about how appreciative I was that he took the time to come and invest in our family. He's busy. He has lots of other things going on, but he took the time to come sit with my family and watch that game, something I love. It was simple. It was very, very simple. But multiple times, if I just send a quick message that says thank you, it goes a long, long way. These are the types of initiative items in relationships that I think can make a major difference in your life. I think you'll start to see a catapult of success come when you start initiating these choices, not sitting back and thinking them through. Analyzing can paralyze you from the very success that's already in you, the things you already know you can do. Hey, I'm going to just take this and throw it away so someone else doesn't have to do it. You know, little things in a restaurant. The other day I was in a restaurant, so powerful. We are on the road and we're driving to a soccer tournament and we're in a rush. Shocker. We're in a rush. And we're grabbing a quick meal, and they just opened. So we're there immediately, and they're short-staffed. And I could tell right from the get-go. Immediately, we order, it's 10 minutes, it's 12 minutes, it's 15 minutes. But the young lady behind the counter is coming up to us in between and just saying, we're short-staffed, really sorry, we're gonna get it out to you right away. And we're like, no problem. Then she comes back out and gives us a couple of cups, and she goes, grab a drink on us, please. And then as she hands us our meal, she throws in 2 cookies. Really, really simple thing. But let me tell you what, when I left, I walked back up to her and I said, I really appreciate you taking the initiative to give us a little bit more than what we put in to this meal. The extra drink and the extra cookie were super appreciated. We appreciated it immensely. And I just want you to know I appreciate that you valued our response today. And taking that initiative on my end to thank her was a big benefit. I can tell you it probably made that hour that morning, the most painful hour of her morning, a little bit easier. So every day you have a chance to take a little bit more initiative in minor moments. Do it. Whether it be a big one like changing a job or it be something small like getting a meal, thank someone. Take the initiative to do the extra mile. Make your success relative on you, your choices, and your initiative. Thanks for joining me. I'm Scott Danner. It's always great to see your comments, understand what initiative you've taken in your life that's made enormous amounts of difference. Were they small? Were they large? Share your biggest initiative story or your smallest below and help us understand and learn from each other.